Welcome to JFix, and in this video we're on the electronics workbench with a few bits that I've picked up from AliExpress. I've done a couple of these videos before and they seem to be quite popular, getting a lot of views on this, so people might be interested in this type of thing. Just a bit of a show and tell of what I've got, what I'm going to be using it for. So let's go through these items and yeah, I'll show you them in more detail. First up, I've just got a set of these crocodile clip test leads. Now, I've done a video recently on the bench power supply that I picked up, so if you've seen that, you'll know I'm just trying to put together a few of the kind of essential cables that I need to use that I didn't have. So on this side I've got banana plugs, and the power supply can't take the shielded banana plugs, so these are ideal. They will go straight into the power supply. But the reasons I picked these ones up is that on these ends they're actually like a spade terminal connector on these Alligator clips, so they're really thin and they've not got any, they're completely flat on the inside, so they can go into spade terminals or clip on a terminal, even if it's recessed into a hole. So for example, if I wanted to charge a battery up, and I've got this type of battery, you can see I can insert this into one of the terminals here, and the same here. And I can charge it up that way, hooked up to the power supply. And I say, if it's these ones are the ones that you insert, but if there were spades on there, I could use that to come in, even on someone like a laptop battery, come in and clip onto a terminal. So not particularly interesting, but when you need to use it, it'd be quite useful, rather than having to like try and shove a bit of wire in. Having a purpose-built set of leads for that would be quite useful to keep in the drawer. That's the number one item. Here are the test leads on here. £4.21, quite cheap they are, and you can see the flat jaw on them there. And you get two in the pack, the black and the red. Second thing I've got here is this DC load. I've picked this up specifically for a little project or video that I want to make. Someone was asking me on one of the comments to test one of the outputs on my USB, and I needed some kind of load to attach to it, so that's why I've gone for this. I'm not going to go into too much detail because, say, there will be a separate video where I'll show this. But just briefly, it's got various inputs on here. You've got a USB-C, a micro USB, mini USB, a barrel jack, and you've got terminals here that you can terminate on, as well as a USB-A. So it accepts quite a lot of different inputs, and you've got adjustments, so you can adjust what type of load you want to set it to. And yeah, you can power the screen on here either via DC jack or a micro USB. But nice little bit of kit this is. And does it have a manufacturer on it? Well, I'll show you the place that you can get this from on AliExpress, and you can have a look. But yep, I'll have another video coming on that one. And if you're interested, this is the DC load. It's rated for up to 200 volts and 150 watts. And see a few pictures of it here. £23.84. Not too expensive. Next up, I have this just a USB lead, but the reason I got this one, and the difference is it's a USB-C but a female on this end. The purpose of this is for my thermal camera. I wanted to connect my thermal camera to the computer, and obviously need to be able to move it around when I've got it connected. So this allows me, because the thermal camera's got a USB-C male on there, so I can connect it into here, and I'll have that connected to my USB hub. And I'll just, if I'm obviously looking for a short and injecting some current, I can scan around on this and see the output straight onto my computer, straight into OBS, so I can also share that on my videos. So yeah, it's just a cable, but quite an important bit of kit for this setup and for the YouTube setup, which is ideal. So I'll keep that together with the thermal camera, and quite looking forward to doing a few videos testing this out. If you need one of these cables, it's on AliExpress here, and it's £2.90. It was actually quite hard to find one that was a USB-A. Most of the USB is USB-C male to USB-C female, but I specifically wanted the USB-A to go in my little hub that I've got. So yeah, £2.90. It's cheap as well on there, and you can choose what length that you want. If you want a 1 meter, oh okay, so that was for the smaller one. If you want the 1 meter one, it was £4.97. Next up, we have this thermal compound MX4 Arctic, and it's quite a large tube. How much is in there? 20 grams in there. Comes with a little spreading tool on there as well. But didn't have any thermal paste, and I'm currently just taking this laptop apart. So while I'm working on it, I want to be able to clean this off, so yeah, I'm not touching it all the time, and obviously if it's dry as well, being able to apply a fresh bit of thermal paste is essential. So yeah, I've picked that up for any type of laptop repairs that I'm going to do. If you need to pick up some of this thermal paste, you've got various sizes here. That's a 4 gram, and that's £2.49, 8 gram, £4.51, or 20 gram that I got, £5.65. So depends on, I might use it multiple times, so I went for the bigger 20 gram. If you've just got a little job, you can get the smaller ones as well, which is useful. But it seems to be go-to one, the MX4, as a kind of standard thermal paste. Right, coming back to this thermal paste, and specifically these type of tubes that have these connectors on. I seem to be picking up a lot of these. Everything seems to use them, so I've got all of these types on here, like for flux and for solder paste, and they all use the same like screw terminal on there. So to manage these ones, you can get different size heads on there, and I've gone ahead and I've purchased this little kit here, which basically just gives me more options. So I've got different size nozzles that can work, and also different thicknesses as well. So you can see here it's quite thick, that one is, so that might be better for something like the thermal paste. And I can also use really thin ones if I wanted to be super accurate with what I was using there. Or say this is quite a big one, but not as long on there, so that might be good for the thermal paste, because that's the standard application like that. But if I was to use one of these on there, just screws in, and I think that'd be easier to apply the thermal paste more accurately. And also, once applying the thermal paste, I've just got this little kind of spreader tool as well. There was that one that came free in there, little plastic spatula. Didn't know that was going to come in there, but this was dead cheap, so I've picked that up. And it can also be used kind of like a prying tool as well, just to get under something like a screen or something very thin, because it's nice and flexible. Yeah, so I've got that. So yeah, also with this kit here, I also got a few other accessories as well. I'm not sure if I'll be using these, but I've got a couple of syringes that you can attach these nozzles on, and a couple of extra bottles as well. I did also have something else in mind as well. I'll come to that in a second. If you need any of these applicators and syringes, the kit I got there, £4.19, so I'll share the link on there. You can also get it in various other formats as well, but the little kit with the box with all the parts in there, £4.19. And that little scraper, £1.03. Yeah, so along with these bottles, I've also picked up some of this rosin here. and it's a hard format here. So what I wanted to do is actually try and grind down some of this rosin into a powder form, and then dissolve it in IPA, and then use one of those bottles with the applicator on there, so I can use it for easily applying rosin when I'm soldering. I've seen other channels use this type of rosin. Obviously I do have the like the clear Flux as well, but this is good as well for some types of jobs. Yeah, so I'll probably have a go at this at the end of the video. I'll show you the rest of the things I've got first, and then we'll grind this down and see if we can make some into one of those bottles, see how that works. Also, still on the subject of these type of containers, when you get them, you seem to get different types of things with it. One's high quality than the other. So if you use this one, you can see that doesn't fit in there that way. It's supposed to go that way, but I mean, you can use it, but it's just completely loose. It just rattles around in there, which is no good. But some of them do come with the ones with the rubber on there, which slides in and it grips not too bad. It's not particularly great, it's just plastic, but it does the job. So I bought this one as well. I'm not sure how this one's going to work, but it's supposed to work with these type of tubes, and it's just going to give you a metal handle that you can reuse, so something like that. Okay, so that seems quite loose on there. Feels much better quality than the plastic ones, but I still think that that should sit in there, press in nicely. Wonder if we can put a bit of tape or something around there to give it a nice firm connection, and then the pointed bit will press in down there. Yeah, let me see if I can do something to give that ring a tighter fit in there. Okay, I've just put a bit of tape around there just to make it into a bit of an O-ring. So now, yeah, I can remove like these flimsy plastic one and use this metal one. So that looks perfect. That's a really nice tight seal in there now, and it feels much better to have a metal handle. Let's give it a go. Perfect. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Seems better quality. They're cheap, but I only bought one just to give it a try first. But if I've got a couple of these tubes, I might have one Flux and maybe one for the thermal paste and one for one of the solder. Then I can have a couple like that set up to use, and then I can reuse these things as many times as you want. And especially, I didn't have enough of those ones with the rubber on it. I had to start using these ones. That's what prompted me to try and buy that, because they're no good at all. They just fall out. Yeah, so I'm quite happy with that. Shame it doesn't fit without having to put a bit of tape on it, but it's no drama. Can work with that. I think you can also get ones that you hold like that, and they've got a handle that comes down. Maybe that gives you more control, but I'm quite happy just to use it like that, use it from the top. Yeah, that little plunger, if you want one of them, £1.19. Let's say I only got a single one, but I'm definitely going to get a few more of them for myself now I've used that, and use it for my other tubes that I've got, because that's the great thing about AliExpress, it's just so cheap. £1.19 for them. So yeah, I'll definitely be getting a couple more of them. So coming back to this laptop that I've been working on, see, when I've got this thermal paste cleaned off on here, and if I'm just bench testing this board, I don't necessarily want to put the whole thing back together to start testing it, putting all the fans on and the heat pipes and things, and even if they are on, it means that they're covering these kind of things, so I can't take measurements or check with thermal camera. So the solution I've come up with is for that, or what I wanted to try, is I've got a couple of these heat sinks. The idea is I can have one sitting on the CPU and one sitting on the GPU temporarily. Then I'm quite happy that I can power up the board. Obviously it's not got a fan on it, but just this passive cooling will be fine just to at least bench test it, rather than heat these cores heating up and going into a thermal shutdown. Don't really want that to happen. So I bought these two, and to make contact with there, I've also bought this thermal pad on here. So I think I'm going to cut this down to the right size and have that stick on there, and then use it on these two. Let's just try that now. I'll cut these down and then see how that works. Both cut to size now, so you can see they're quite a thick thermal pad on there, so I think that should dissipate the heat quite well, and it's a fairly decent size heatsink on there, which will be big enough just to work. So you don't want it something too big, but I think that would be ideal, and then you can just place them on there like that. Then I'm quite happy that I can power up that laptop then without it overheating. And when I'm not using these, I was just going to stick them on a little mat on here just to stop any dirt getting on them. Gonna have that on the desk somewhere, and it's quite sticky stuff, that thermal pad, so it shouldn't go anywhere, but having them on there will just stop any dirt getting onto them, so it's not going to scratch the next thing I work on. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. Is that a good idea?
Right, them little heat sinks, £7.21 for one of them, because it does come with a few little accessories like clips and things, and you can get them if you wanted to use it for a project or something with like fans and things on them. I just wanted the basic little heat sink to dissipate the heat for testing. £7.21, I got two of them, and you get 10% off if you buy 2 pieces. So it's not the cheapest thing, but it'll last, it's just a piece of metal, lasts forever. So yeah, I've got those, and that thermal pad to go with the heat sink that I could use. Obviously you can cut it to size, you can use it for various things. I went for the thickest one, so that's 5mm, and I think I went for the biggest size as well. No, not the biggest one. I went for the 100mm by 200mm, 5mm thickness. So that comes in at £5.91. And for those 2 heat sinks, I've got a lot more of the thermal pad left still that I can use. And you can pick any thickness you want there. Obviously, the thinner ones are a lot cheaper as well.
Also, the last thing I got, again, is some more thermal pads, but these are pre-cut and they're quite a lot thinner than the other ones, with a sticky back on both sides. The idea is on these is that I will be able to use them for some types of application. Maybe for example on these like VRAMs on here, if I was to remove the paste on there, and so say these ones, I think they make contact onto like the metal chassis of the laptop. So yeah, rather than having the thermal paste, I mean, I don't know what this type is, it's like really gunky sticky stuff. I don't know if that was a thermal pad that's just kind of like melted down a bit, but yeah, these ones for some reason don't have anything on them, so I'll be able to stick a couple of these thermal pads on there and at least give them some contact to the metal that's dissipating the heat from them. Same maybe with this PCH, that didn't have anything on it, so I could have one on there if required. But yeah, it comes in a little tub there. You get quite a few in there, 100 pieces I think, pre-cut. Again, just another thing to have on your desk. So finally, to wrap up this video, I think I'm just going to have a go at making that rosin, liquid rosin, into the container. Let's crush up that and see how that goes. I've raided the kitchen. I managed to find a pestle and mortar, if that's what you call it. Okay, and I think it's just in crystal form at the moment. Right, that's not good, it's got card. Oh, it does come off. Yeah, I think it'd be much easier to dissolve if I kind of crush it up a bit first. So the idea is, let me empty all of these in and then give it a go, crush it up into more of a powder. Then I'll see if I can dissolve it. Right, I've got 4 of those chunks of rosin in there. Now I'm just going to crush it down. I've got a really fine powdery consistency now. So let's come with some isopropyl alcohol. I'm not sure how much I'm going to need to add in here. I don't want it too runny, so just going to be kind of sparing with it. Let that dissolve and then come back and add a little bit more if I need to. I've got a nice consistency now. It all seems to have dissolved. So I'm going to use one of those syringes that came in the kit just to try and dispense it into a bottle. And I'm going to put it into here. Keep working through until I've got a full bottle here. Here is the finished product. So now I've got my liquid rosin, which is just pure rosin with alcohol dissolved, and so you can dispense that quite easily now if I need to. And I've seen this on some of Soren's videos repairing laptops. It's quite useful. For example, if you've got an area that's had water damage on there, you can put the rosin in liquid form on there, then come with the hot air station. It will evaporate the alcohol, but it will leave like a thin layer of the rosin on there, which is a really good insulator, which will protect it from further corrosion, things like that. Obviously it's really good for soldering. So I've got that one now with this rosin in there. I've also got this one which has got the alcohol, and of course now with this new plunger in here, I've got the Flux in that one as well. So they're pretty much 3 of the go-to ones that I'll keep handy close on my table for using. But yeah, let me know what you think of this video, if it's useful. Put some feedback down below, and yeah, hopefully if you want to check out some of the other videos I've got. I've just done a repair. I'm still working on that laptop that I showed earlier. I've done a part 1 on it, so if you've got any advice on that one, let me know, because I'm working on a part 2 currently on that laptop. Alright, that's it for this one. Thanks.